All right, so I did not want to start this new channel out with a cliche question, but here it goes because I think it'll help me best express myself. And that is, when was the last time you took the time to watch a sunrise or a sunset? Now, I'm not talking about just driving past it in your car, but like you actually took time to sit there and just watch it. Last week I went on a run, and I haven't been running early in the morning lately, but I did last week, and it was early enough to where I literally, while I was running, got to watch the sunrise. Now, I pass the sun rising. I say that almost every day as I take my kids to school. Depending on what season it is, I'll often see it kind of, but I'm driving, talking to my kids, listening to something on the radio, whatever. I'll look at it and go, wow, that was pretty. But actually running with it, like as it's rising and watching it just fill the sky with fire, was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And I think it was particularly interesting to me because of what I've been meditating on, noodling on lately, and that is being present. I think I struggle, maybe you can relate, with just being present with people, with God, with nature, what's going on around me, because there's so many different things that are pulling at me, whether that is my job. It's got a lot of, emails coming in and phone calls coming in, and someone needs this and someone needs that. Or it may just be like I don't know where my phone is. Yeah. My phone, right? My phone is total distraction for me sometimes. Notifications going off on my iWatch, and there's been times I've just wanted to kind of chuck this thing. But like just so many different things going on at one time. Or even something I've thought about myself is like living in a place of hyper focus on the future and what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. Or maybe even having a major focus in the past where some of us have got things that, even traumatic things that have happened to us, and they do need to be dealt with. I'm not saying going back to the past is bad, because honestly, it can be a very good thing. But I'm talking about living in the past, even in, like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, where we may find ourselves living in the glory days, like something that we did in high school that was great. Or, I think I see churches do this sometimes, church families, and that's like living in this place where God did something awesome years ago, and we're just trying to resurrect it any way we possibly can, breathe life into it, give it CPR so that God might do it again. And I think when we, again, live in that place, we can miss what God's doing presently. Of course, it's important to revisit what God has done in the past. I mean, God had Israel remind themselves of what he did in the past throughout the year, over and over and over, and also participate in what took place in the in the past. So I'm not saying that's not important. It is. It's vitally important. But if we're living in a place, we are just living from a place of past or future or distraction or just being overloaded with things to do. I find myself, and maybe this is just me, but I find myself struggling with being present. And one of the things I most admire about Jesus, whether it's him tired and thirsty talking to a Samaritan woman, whether he's been resurrected and is walking on the road to Emmaus and having a conversation with a couple guys, or even after resurrecting, like cooking breakfast for his disciples, like sitting down and cooking breakfast. He seems to be so present with what God is doing and what's taking place among people. And so the title of this channel is Mission and Formation. And what I hope that it is not a bunch of videos that I do, but that it's a community that forms around us asking the questions, like, first of all, what is God doing? Is God doing anything in the world? What's he doing in the world, in our nation, in our neighborhoods, in our cities? Like, what is he up to? What is his mission? What's going on? In us asking ourselves as a community, like, how do we participate in that? What does that look like? How do we participate in what God's mission is and what he's doing? And another question, how are we as a community, as a body, being formed? I've been sometimes in my life, I've been hyper mission focused and let's go, let's go, let's do this. What's God doing? Let's join him. And I failed to take the time to recognize and to yield to what God is doing in the community that I'm a part of. Like, how is he shaping us? How is he forming us? How is he building Christ's character in us? Is he trying to grow our faith in certain areas? Do we need to be stretched here or there? And because I've been so mission centered, I've really missed out on that. On the flip side, I've seen folks where it's hyper formation and we aren't really participating in what God wants to do because we're just concerned about spiritual formation. But I think these things need to come together in a beautiful way. And so I hope that we can build community around that. But in order for that to take place, I felt like this was an appropriate topic because we have got to learn how to be present with God and with one another. And so I don't have this video. I'm not going to give any answers or any things that I've done practically. I just want to ask you, are there any things that you find, practices or things that you incorporate into your life that help you to stay focused on what God is doing, that help you stay present? I think all of us have been in conversations with people where we recognize that person's checked out. They're not present. Whether it's, maybe they have something there's a good reason for it and there's something heavy on their minds, or maybe they're just on their phones and just kind of doing their own thing. For us to really love people well and participate well in God's mission, we've got to be present with them and present with God. So, just throw it out there. What are some things that you do to help you to be present with people and to help you be present with God? Talk to you next time.